welcome back to the GSTL, where StarTale is on the ropes. You can call them partying right now because he is all they are.
Exactly, and the problem is, well, we are going to find out if after the next match StarTale is going to shed a tear or two.
Oh, we will find out indeed, man. That was good.
You really think twice about it? It was like, well, let me think. Okay.
I'm
guys.
proud of you.
Huh?
No. I feel like
I worked hard on that one.
It was a little bit of studying. You will one day be able to do as I have done with this. Look at the win rate of Tier, man.
My friend.
look at Tier's win rate, 100%.
Yeah, of course, 100%. He won both games.
Yeah, he did.
Well, Antigua is the map guy, as you mentioned it earlier, with another PvP. Tier just has shown that he was able to take down, well, that he's good enough to take down Squirtle. Squirtle choked a little bit here, but well, Harding in general is a very, very strong, not only PvP player, but his best matchup is the matchup against Terran. And we expect Gumiho to be the last one for FXO. We'll see if it's true, but now we are focusing on the Protoss Mirror at the GSTL with StarTale against FXO. It could be our last game, guys. To the bottom right of the map, in the red, we have our StarTale player. It is the one and only
StarTale Parting!
After Squirtle was defeated, Harding stepped into the booth, and it's now up to him. He has to defeat 2 opponents if he wants to help his team to victory. His opponent is starting at the top left in the blue color for the FXO team.
FXO Tier!
You know what is funny to me is that Harding has the ID parting, but what is he parting? Like, that's a really interesting ID because, I mean, does that, like, it's not the ID you can get like you get an ST where you have the bottom ST on your desk. It's not an ID that's like really cool. It doesn't really have any symbolic meaning necessarily. It's like, I mean, there was this story about a man named Moses who parted the Red Sea. There's like parting your hair in different ways.
Could also be a problem of translation.
It could be.
The Koreans don't really have that F sound.
It could be. It could be. It could be farting, man. It could be, I suppose. I don't think that's his style, but I guess that's possible. You know, it could be like parting ways, like when parted ways with Foyu and joined StarTale. Maybe that was, well, of course he had parting when he was on Foyu, so that would make sense. I don't know, it's something I'm curious about. I'm curious about this idea. I swear, I'm actually curious, guys. I don't know what to say. I don't know.
Well, I'm ready for this game.
Yeah, me too. Sure sounds like we were going to be in for a good one. Nah, second gas going up a little bit later for Tier, in fact. Probes parting ways. Middle of the map, past the watchtower. And the core is finishing Chrono Boost first again for Tier, but the second, of course, goes down for parting as well.
I feel his timing in the last game definitely gave him a little bit of an edge over over Squirtle, because Squirtle did not expect anything like it.
No.
He scouted and he might have expected some kind of 4-gate timing, but how soon actually those units appeared in front of his base, that was something that he was not really prepared for. So at this point right now, Tier has to play a different game. And this is more of a straight-up match that he's playing right now, so he has to prove that he's not only able to hit with this early aggression that he was preparing on Cloud Kingdom, but that on this map he's able to use like more of a normal build. And what we usually see here is kind of Robo against Blink. One player on Antigua kind of always goes for Blink with Twilight Council and Robo to make the Blink build happen, whereas the other one is trying to go for an expansion and defense it with Immortals.
Yes.
Just rarely do I see both players going for a build with expansion and defending, just going for the robo and starting with a couple of immortals here.
This does occasionally happen, and when that does occur, we see long Colossi battles usually.
Yeah.
We may see both or one or two players go for Blink on this map. This is the best map, arguably, in the world for Blink, and the tech chosen for both players at the same time is going to be Robo versus Phoenix. And Phoenix builds can be quite deadly, depending on their execution. You know, in fact, it seems like whenever I watch a Phoenix player play, he wins. It seems that way. It's not actually true, but it's just like Phoenix is...
It's just very strong. If
It's
you
so
back it
strong.
up with gateway units, and you can, for example, break through a defense by just lifting those sentries and making sure that you get up the ramp. But right now, Harding is going to get aggressive here.
Oh, and he is going to do it a little bit wrong, losing one Stalker and a few hit points on another. He did not expect those Stalkers to be at the ramp.
But he got the probe in there, and that's the big deal.
That is... Oh!
Oh! He wiggles his way through his opponent's probes and is able to spot the Stargate.
That's so important. That's worth
Yeah.
losing the Stalker. So much so.
That was really important here. Well done.
He warps in 2 sentries at home immediately upon seeing this and will add a Nexus. And I like this choice of builds from Tyr as he's ahead. He's the one who can definitely throw a bit of a crazy, wacky thing in here. Well, Phoenix builds are hardly really rare anymore. I would say they're the rarest build, but they're still quite common compared to what they once were.
He builds an expansion as we speak about it, and now we have Parting with all the information that he needs. It was really so interesting to see how he was able to get this probe in there, but then when Tyr actually reacted and tried to block it, and he was still able to get a quick look at the Stargate, very important for him here. But still, Harding has to be very, very careful, because the problem that you are facing against Phoenixes is that if Phoenixes make good use of their Graviton Beam, not only for the harass, but later on for the attack, then they can lift the Immortals, they can lift Sentries, so you have to be very, very careful, and the unit positioning is everything.
And as the Phoenix player, you have to be careful what you lift. You have to make sure that if you're when you scout what your opponent is doing with the Phoenixes, you don't overlift, because he may attack you, and then you'll need those lifts defensively. We'll actually not use any lifts. So what he's seen, I think that's smart. Obviously, it's really hard for him to lift the probes when they're in a really strong defensive position like that. But with the Immortal already out and with that many gates, he could be facing an attack soon.
Tyr is actually ahead in worker supply. He chrono boosted his Nexus a little bit more often than Parting and is already at 33 to 28 probes. And now he's taking down a few workers of his opponent, so this will only increase.
Oh, and he gets a sentry as well. Loses that Phoenix, though.
Yeah, but still,
risky decision.
He's in a decent position here. Both of them going for the double probe production, focusing a little bit more on their economy, not trying to go for a too aggressive build or hit a timing here. But at this point, Tyr definitely has a small lead over Parting.
Yeah. We'll see what Tyr's follow-up for tech is. He's actually continuing to make Phoenixes into robotic support bay. That is really bold this early. It may be too soon for robotic support bay, arguably, with the Phoenixes about. And he will likely see this when he goes to do some harassment. He has finally stopped Phoenix production. He's gone up to 5 again. Could have 6 if he didn't lose the 1.
Yeah, he starts his own Immortals here, already halfway done. He gets the double gas at the expansion. Still, both of them focusing on economy, and still, of course, the FXO player ahead with his income. Gonna be a little bit more of a cautious game, and over and over again, just those small attacks by Tyr. And he is not losing any additional Phoenixes now. He flies in, takes down a probe, takes down 2, and immediately backs off. Tries to draw his the units of his opponent to defend, making sure that the StarTale player is not moving out just yet. And always just killing another probe. He already killed 6 in total.
The robotic support bay is on the way. Both of them are going to be going to a Colossus composition towards the mid and late game.
Same
Nice
idea once again. But the positioning is very well executed by Parting here. He has units everywhere in order to defend against this. More than a probe that's just nothing that Tyr can do at this point anymore, because Parting is ready for this.
Colossus range on the way faster, of course, for Parting, since he had that robotic support bay much faster. 3 additional gates going up for our FX Open player Tyr. And he can't really do much more with these Phoenixes right now.
He can use them later on against the Colossi, of course. That's when they are really going to shine once again, or just try to lift those Immortals. But at this point, in regards to his there's harass. He can just try to snipe, as we could just see, a probe at a time, but he will always lose the shields on at least one of his Phoenixes and maybe even a couple of hit points.
Yeah, the worker count right now slightly in Tier's favor at 48-46, and our StarTale player Harding has actually cut probe production temporarily. Now he's restarted it. Well, basically, right now, we are going to have a very similar game between these two players. The second robo goes up now. Oh, getting the observer's pretty huge. Second robo going up, and we're going to see better upgrades for Tier because he starts them faster.
But on the other hand, with the second robo right now, we will definitely see also a lot more units, tech units for Parting. If he goes for double Colossal production here, he would definitely out DPS his opponent if Tier is not careful. So this is going to be an interesting race.
Yeah, it certainly will be. And I think a race is actually a great way to put it, because that is essentially what we're seeing here. A race to the perfect composition, and then we will have the battle that may decide this entire team league. Or we may have a really fast timing attack right now from Tier, which is exactly what we're seeing. He's adding a second robo, but he's getting aggressive right now.
He's at an army supply with 63-55, and he's on the move, you're right.
Oh.
So the Colossi count at this point is 2-2.
He actually, with this pylon placement, can warp units onto the high ground, try to draw units up to the main, where he gets his Colossi into a good position on the low ground. This is pretty clever. He's going to hit with, he's got +1.
Don't forget that the Observer was already killed, so Harding did not really have all the scouting information that he needed. Here we have the units on the low ground, though. He's trying to move in. The Colossi count for Parting is at 3-2. Extended Thermal Lance is done for both of them.
Charge is on the way as well. I think he's just trying to get an edge here, and if he gets one, he'll use it.
And he moves in, he gets Guardian Shield, and he's moving in immediately. Here we go, he has 3 Immortals as well, using those force fields and trying to snipe one of the 2 robotics. He's actually able to do it. Very well done. And Tier is doing a lot of pressure here. He's ahead in supply, trying to back off now, but this is a very scary moment. He could actually walk onto the high ground.
Yeah, he does, and the Phoenixes come back. Get a probe, but the Zealots are coming in here as well. Unfortunately, it's not going to be enough, but this allows him to run away. Oh, he's coming back again. He wants to have the position with his Colossi where the units are clumped up on the ramp. He decides to turn around, though. A smart choice. He takes a huge supply lead here, and taking out the robo is the most important thing that happened.
Exactly, that's the big deal here, because as it is now, Tier can suddenly produce double Colossi and take his third, whereas Parting is a little bit just pinned back into his 2-base position. And that's really bad for the StarTale player here. Things are not going well.
No, they're not. Right now, the worker count 57-52. A faster third base going up for Tier as well. These Phoenixes are sitting a little bit dangerously over here. He will pull them back, though.
The army supply alone is like 90 against 83 right now. A lead in the harvesters as well, taking the third base. He's also getting all these upgrades. He talked about that he got his forge a bit earlier, and he's currently at 1-0 if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
But so is actually...
He's a half an upgrade ahead, basically. So there will be a moment in half an upgrade's time, which I believe is... It's actually about 190 seconds. That's when he's going to have a timing where he will be ahead in upgrades. If he uses that or not will probably just come down to chance. But I love how careful Parting has been with his Stalker defense here. He even made it cannon, takes out the Phoenix there.
But it also shows how well the harass from Tier works. Even though there were Stalkers in the mineral line, he always just made it happen to kill this 1 or 2 probes, and this forces StarTale Parting into a position where he has to defend with cannons as well. He can not only rely on his Stalkers, and of course there's always the problem that as soon as he moves out or gathers his units on the low ground, that there is an opening for these Phoenixes. A big problem for Parting here. And Tier is playing this very well. He's already getting his second forge because he knows, he's fully aware of the situation that he's in right now, that he's a little bit ahead, that he got his expansion a little bit earlier than Parting, and he can go for the double upgrades.
Yes. And, you know, the upgrades are going to be the only advantage he can really get for himself right now, because in PvP, at this stage of the game, both players are going to make Colossi, and they're going to try to build, like I said, the perfect composition. And they either will or they won't. I mean, one player's composition is going to be slightly better than the others, but they're going to be pretty similar. It's going to come down to the positioning, the Zealot counts, how the Colossi fire, where they're target fired, if they're target fired too much. I mean, all these things, it sounds kind of funny to say, but that is going to be the deciding factor in this game, because we are at that stage. It has reached the War of the Worlds stage here.
Parting taking a slight lead in supply here. The Archons right now also in the game for him, and not for his opponent so far at least. We have the +3 attack upgrade started, and here come the double upgrades. And this is the advantage that Tier wants to get right now. 3 bases for both of them. They're a little bit reluctant to move out here, but double Mortal production now for Parting, and 4 additional gates. He really wants to make sure that he's able to reinforce as soon as possible when the fight starts.
And he's going to take this base in the center, but unfortunately his opponent, Parting, has the control of the Watchtower, so he may be able to force a cancel here just with positioning alone.
The Colossi count is identical, 8 to 8.
Another Colossus, or rather Archon, coming out here.
He's trying to force a cancel.
He will force
+3
it.
is not done yet. Nor is the armor upgrade, but a nice position here on the high ground. Of course, for Parting, and he is making this work, but what exactly is Tier doing? He's moving back now, taking a lot of damage. He has to be very careful here. He's actually behind in supply right now. He's waiting for his upgrades, but they're not done just yet. And this base is endangered. He needs to cancel it.
Yeah, he's trying to use it to buy time and buy positioning. Right now the Colossus count is 7 to 9 in favor of Tier. The Zealot count 12 to 17 in favor of Tier as well. Both on 4 Immortals, 1 extra Archon for Tier. He still has the 2 Phoenixes, but 16 Stalkers for Parting, so he's got a ton of DPS there.
And of course, he's also though trying to claim the middle of the map as we speak. He was
the Zealot flank. He's going to set up a Zealot flank here. This could be devastating, but it's only if he can make this work. Otherwise, he has got a ton of Zealots that are in the middle of nowhere.
They were spotted. He's seen them. He knows about them.
And he's not even going to flank. He's actually just going to run them by.
That is, he tries to, this is just a positional run by. He wants to claim the middle of the map, and he's able to do it. The Zealots, they run in, and even though Parting tries to retreat, the middle of the map is now occupied by Tier, but he cannot capitalize on it, and those Zealots are doing a lot of damage in the main base of Parting, who decides to just go for it.
Yeah, he is going to go for it. Tier in a stressful moment now. He's got to split his Colossi. He needs to do that, and now he starts to a little bit, but they're clumped, and the Stalkers are doing a ton of damage, but with the Concave, he forces Parting back, and the Zealots counter, they are still alive in the main.
A few of those Colossi have already been killed, and now Tier's trying to get Blink. We have in the main base the Parting defending with Archons. The supply is currently in favor of Tier, 160 for Parting. He has a 4th base, so does Tier, who tries to establish the base, the 4th at the top of the map. The Colossi count is 7 to 7. A really tense situation here.
He eliminated so many of his opponent's Stalkers as well in that fight, so that really helps him composition-wise. He's getting that Blink, as you mentioned. He's also getting +1 shields. He's way ahead in upgrades. Fleet Beacon, though, for Parting. A smart choice. And remember, Parting has the upgrade, or the economy advantage here with that center base. He may have a smaller army, but he has the Watchtower, and he has that base.
On the other hand, we have still a slight upgrade advantage for Tier, who's going already for the 2nd armor upgrade, while Parting is researching the 1st one. Parting has the scouting information that he needs. At least he's aware of the 4th base. And this is going to be really intense, guys. This could be the last game. If Tier takes this match, then suddenly FXO is in the semi-final and StarTale will be out of the tournament. Here comes another engagement. Those Colossi look pretty strong for Parting here. A nice Concave, but is it going to be enough?
I don't think so, man. Not with the Warping and Zealots of Tier. His supply way ahead. The Immortals have closed the distance. The Zealots coming in, Parting. He does not have any reinforcements close by, and the Blink is done. He can begin to use that if he wants to.
An advantage in Colossi numbers now for Tier. He's at 9 to 7, and he's chasing them away. Another warp in started, but those Colossi, they are on the run, and suddenly 30 supply ahead for the FX Open player. Tier is making this happen with those Immortals that he has. He is chasing those. He's chasing those Immortals, and suddenly the 4th base is exposed, and Tier is in an amazing position.
He is practically in an unlosable position at this point. Up 50 supply, and this is not good for the StarTale team. They're watching their life in this league fall apart in front of their eyes.
The FXO team is already shedding tears of joy. They are really cheering there, while we have suddenly the StarTale player down to 92 supply, Parting. And he's down on 3 bases. He's down on 3 bases. He's behind in upgrades. He's behind in everything.
Economy, everything. The positioning here in between the bases is perfect for Tier.
He's tripling the Colossi count. Tier is tripling Parting's Colossi count. 9 to 3. And he's about to move in for the last stand. This is Parting's last stand. Too much DPS. Just too much DPS from Tier.
Yep, he's got too many shield upgrades and his advantage, as well as the armor upgrades. A misfire there for Parting's Colossi, and they are going to start to fall now to the Zealots, and that is it.
He's tearing him apart.
He really is. He certainly is tearing him apart, man. Tripling the slide.
GG! Tier takes down Curious, Squirtle, and Parting. He wins the GSTL match for his team. FXO takes down StarTale. Wow.
I mean, they're going to drink all of their hot sixes together and rejoice.
Joya is screaming there, and it is Tier who takes down StarTale basically. Lenok and Lucky, they both get one win, but it is Tier who defeats Curious, who defeats Squirtle, and who takes down Parting. Wow. Well played. Really, really well played. A happy Joya walks back to the booth after shaking hands with the StarTale coach.
And they looked good today. Like we said from the beginning, they were going to have a tough round ahead of them, and they came through. They definitely came through today.
Yeah, we asked who is it going to be. One of those second-tier players had to step it up, and it was Tier. He had good results in the past in the Code A qualifiers, but in the leagues itself, he was never able to make this big splash as players like Lenok and Lucky did. But now, that was impressive. That was really impressive. Squirtle and Parting in a PvP.
Both of them.
Congratulations. Really well done.
Plus, taking out Curious, looking really solid there as well. Great win for his team. Obviously, the MVP by far.
Yeah, definitely. This was really amazing, and I never expected this.
I'm curious to see what he's going to say.
I was really already surprised, and I was positively surprised by him when he took down two of the players. Was like, okay, well, this was really, really well done. He certainly he should also made this happen for his team, but I expect to see Kumio.
I expect to see as well. He showed all sorts of play. He showed a PvZ where he played to the late game with a really nice attack. Yeah, he got ahead early. Then the second game he played it Pros versus Pros, but he got ahead early again with a kind of a build order aggressive move. And then the third game he played a long PvP with perfect decision making. He went for a Phoenix build, and he showed all sorts of play, all sorts of sides of him.
He played very smart.
Yes.
Very, very smart play, and I have to say that I'm really impressed. I was already impressed after the win against Parting, but this is great. And of course, for him closing the series and taking the last win against StarTale is a big deal here. Very impressive. Very well done. Sad for the StarTale team, of course. They aimed a lot higher than this because they really wanted to make up for this loss in the final of last season. They wanted to claim the title. They wanted to go to Busan, but it did not really happen. Tier just was the one player that they did not really account for.
No, they certainly did not. Well, we're going to have our interview now with our player, our MVP,
and of course, Coach Joya.
축하드려요.
감사합니다.
네, MVP도 처음이고 데뷔에 지금 가장 기쁜
Yeah, I think Tier being the MVP doesn't surprise anyone.
No.
지금 하늘을 날아갈 것 같아 정말 기쁜 거예요.
네. 자, 솔직히 말하면요.
He actually feels like he's flying cloud number 9.
못했던 게 사실인데요.
Is it 7 or 9?
오늘 에이스
9.
모두 다 잡았어요. 비결이 뭔가요?
제가 진짜 연습을 정말 열심히 했거든요. 그래서 그렇게 된 거예요.
네, 자 방송에 나온 MVP.
He prepared really hard for this match and for the GSTL match in general. That's why he thinks that he did so well today. So it comes down to the preparation. He's very happy to contribute to his team here. And well, he certainly did.
네, 발이 굉장히 짧으신데요. 다음 주 최종전에서도 큰 역할을 해주실 거라 믿습니다. 각오한 말씀.
He thanks all the fans who support FXO and who support himself.
잘 했으면 좋겠어요.
네, 알겠습니다. 감사합니다. 오늘 말씀. 자, 감독님과도 이야기를 나눠봐야겠죠?
He wants to play in the next match. He wants to make an appearance once again, and he hopes that he's able to perform as well as he did today.
정말 기쁘실 텐데요.
네, 좀 많이 기쁘네. 경기한 것 같아요.
네.
제가 더 떨려가지고.
상기돼 있으세요.
네.
네, 지난 시즌,
것처럼.
네, 지난 시즌과 마찬가지로 패자전 가서 이렇게 예상을 깨고
He's so happy that he feels like he actually played himself and won.
개막전이잖아요. 어떻게 보면 그 예선했을 때는 1라운드고 2라운드고도 다 오랜만에 경기를 해가지고 팀원들이 좀 감각이 무뎌진 상태여가지고 그랬던 것 같은데 그냥 이제 좀 긴장이 덜 되니까 이제 잘 성적이 나오는 것 같아요.
네, 다음 주에 4강 티켓을 놓고 NS호서와 만나게 되는데요.
Their team wasn't really warmed up when they started today, but once they got towards the later stage of the team league, they started feeling a little bit better and having more results in the late games
출라에
specifically.
강한 팀도 없는 것 다 비슷비슷해가지고 무조건 이기겠다고 확신은 못하겠지만 저희 팀 애들 요새 성적이 좀 안 좋아가지고 숙소에서 진짜 밥만 먹고 14시간 동안 하루에 쉬지도 않고 게임만 해요.
He says anyone could really take this season. All the teams that are left in the GSTL have a pretty good chance, including Epic Open.
전쯤에 이제 VOD 보면서 연구하고 나머지 시간 다 게임에 투자하고 있거든요. 계속 진짜 이렇게 하면 이번 시즌 충분히 우승할 수 있으니까 팀원들이
So they're going to watch a ton of NS Hosa VODs. They're going to face NS Hosa next week and practice for them.
굉장히 많으실 것 같은데.
They should be really motivated right now. I mean, with this win and facing NS Hosa now, they are going to practice a
저희
lot.
팀이 지금 당장은 성적 좋지 않지만 진짜 조만간 다시 곧 올라갈
And he wants to congratulate StarTale and Team MVP for getting their new sponsors. Very nice thing to say.
덜 하시고 믿고 기다려주셨으면 좋겠고 저희 부모님이 방송 보고 계실 거예요. 근데 요새 걱정이 많으세요. 저희
And he's
팀원들도 지금
asking the StarTale players to not be disappointed because he says, I know you're practicing really hard, and he wants the fans to support all StarCraft 2
네,
players.
감독님의 감동이
Actually,
저한테
you know,
고소해
Shoya,
주셨습니다.
he's putting some
자,
touching
다음 주
words out
경기
there right
기대하도록
now.
하고요. 이상
you're right.
극적으로 최종전에 진출한 FA
Goes way beyond the usual words of a coach, where it's like, I'm really happy that we won today, and we are going to prepare well. So
He
yeah,
actually,
I like
you can see based on like how he answered that interview that he's like so happy right now.
Yeah.
Like he's like, by the way, he's like, I want world peace, and also like, make sure you wash your hands. Like, yeah. He's like, I just want to help people. He's like, you should like all StarCraft players, but he's like, also Counter-Strike is a pretty cool game. But anyway, yeah, we'll be prepared for NS Hosa. All right,
we'll have a look at the match results, guys.
Take a look at those results. Put them up on screen, and you guys already know what happened. But Tier, looking really good. The only Terran to come out was actually the only player to lose for Epic So today.
Yeah, here we have them. Lucky and Lino, 1 win each, and then it was Tier. I'm speechless. This guy is so impressive. But that's the beauty of Team League. That's the beauty of the GSTL, that we always have players stepping it up for their team and making it happen. That's something that I really love.
Yep. Fnatic versus Slayers will be our match next Friday, on Friday the 13th. And, of course, the following Saturday we'll have NS Hosa play against Epic Open, as Choya mentioned. So make sure you tune into that. Those will decide who advances from Group A and Group B to the next round.
Fnatic against Slayers is going to be a great game. It's going to be a great match. And of course, guys, don't forget that we have a lot of StarCraft 2 action coming up next week as well. It's not only going to be Code A. I think we are back on Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, Tuesday, double day.
Exactly, once again a double day. And then the next 2 days will be full of StarCraft 2 action with Code S before we start with the GSTL once again. So a lot of StarCraft 2 matches coming up next week for you.
Yep, just remember your Monday that you have to go back to work on is just going to be that much more horrible with no GSL on that day, but
you are awful.
Make sure.
You are really awful.
Make sure that you remember that I will not be working that day. And also...
Are you serious?
But also make sure during that night you check out the VODs, okay? Get a premium ticket and watch some other StarCraft 2 tournaments that are out there going on at the same time. The finals, of course, are going to be in Busan, and that is actually our Code A players down there who you can look forward to watching on Tuesday or Monday night. All right,
depending on where you live, exactly.
Yeah. So consider that and look forward to all those things.
Yeah, so on Tuesday, don't forget, it's a double day again for all the guys of you who hold a premium ticket. You can watch both of the streams. If not, just check out the VODs. And then Code S semifinals, that's going to be really impressive. No, actually the quarterfinals, I'm sorry. So we'll see you next week. I hope that you have a great weekend, a great Sunday. See you soon. Bye-bye.
I hope time won't forget all the people I've come to know.